Hey everyone. In this video, I want to talk to you about an incredibly important topic, which is never ever feel ashamed about working on improving your mental health. In fact, you should feel like a badass if you are willing to admit that your mental health isn't where you want it to be and you're actually willing to follow through on working on improving it. I mean, seriously, how many people are out there right now that are suffering from mental health issues in some form? So many people are depressed, so many people feel anxious, so many people are incredibly stressed from their jobs, their daily life, their relationships, just so many different things because, quite frankly, we're living in very unnatural environments in very unnatural ways for what we're meant to do. Humans are meant to be out in nature, and we've built these concrete jungles, and now we work our lives to death and for a job that doesn't really care about us, to make money that we have to spend to support ourselves on crap we don't even need half the time. And basically, it's very difficult to feel fulfilled in these kinds of environments, and that's understandable. So most people don't, and that leads to a lot of mental health problems. So out of all the people suffering from mental health issues in some form, how many of them do you think actually have the courage to admit that, one, their mental health isn't where it could be, and two, how many of them actually have the strength to, once they've admitted that fact, to actually work on improving their mental health? Think about that. I can tell you right now, the people who are willing to do those two things are very, very rare. So if you're one of them, if you're watching this video and you've already, one, admitted to yourself that your mental health needs to be improved, and two, you're willing to work on improving it, you are a badass. You need to understand that you are awesome. You are rare. You are a step above the average person. You have so much strength, and I hope you realize it. So few people are willing to do this. What you're doing to actually work on improving their situation, work on improving their mental health. That is so rare. So never feel ashamed for that. In fact, let's think about this. Where the hell does that shame come from? It comes from external sources, right? It comes from the news media, it comes from society, it comes from, God forbid, your parents or your peers. That's where that shame comes from. It's all external. And quite frankly, a lot of it is fabricated because nobody should feel ashamed for working on their mental health. Basically, what society does, or at least the news media, is they make people out to be like villains or something when they have a problem and they're willing to work on it. I mean, they do it to celebrities all the time. You see celebrities fall from grace because they end up admitting they have a drug problem, and then the news media just slams on them like, you suck, oh, you're addicted to drugs. And it's like, dude, they're willing to admit that they have a problem, and now they're willing to focus on fixing it? Like, you're calling them a bad person for that? I mean, I think they'd be more of a bad person if they kept using drugs and being a victim to drugs and lying to themselves that they didn't have a problem and choosing not to fix it. But once they've admitted they have a problem and they're working on improving it, they're a badass now. They have just had the courage to be vulnerable in front of a ton of people because they're famous, and now they're actually working on improving that. That is awesome. But that's not what the media says. The media says they should feel ashamed of themselves. They've ruined their name and their reputation. This is why I say, do not watch the media. Reject that crap, because it is probably the main source of why so many people feel ashamed in the first place when they feel their mental health declining and admitting to themselves that they need to work on it. That is not a shameful thing at all. In fact, it's very empowering because it's something that you can actually improve. You have control over it. You can affect it. You can make it better over time. That is awesome. It's much better than when it's a problem that you can't do anything about. Like if you're, well, I can't think of a good example, but you all know what I mean. If there's something that you can't change, that is super disempowering because there's nothing you can do in that situation. But as soon as you have control over it, that is empowering. Even if the problem is something that you could almost argue in some cases is self-made. There are plenty of cases where our mental health, we can decline it of our own accord because we make poor decisions. But there will also be cases where it declines because of things that happened to us that we had no control over. But either way, we can always choose to work on improving it. So once you actually start doing that, never feel ashamed. I mean, I can't reiterate this enough, but I seriously think people like this, people like you, are badasses. Because so few people are willing to do that. People are too proud, and it's just so dumb. Like, it all stems from the media, I believe. This is my theory, but if you guys have other theories, please let me know, because I wish I could go to war with it, whatever started this BS like ideology, because it is so dumb to think that somebody admitting they have a problem and working on improving it is a bad thing, that they should feel ashamed. Like, are you fucking kidding me? There's so many people out there who have issues that they won't admit to themselves, that they lie about, and they have no desire to work on them. Those people are the ones who should feel ashamed, if anything. Like, especially the ones who are lying to themselves, because that means they're being dishonest, they're not living their truth. That is not cool. But why would you ever say that someone who actually recognizes the problem and then works on fixing it should be ashamed of themselves? Like, no, reject that crap. That is the stupid way of thinking. Reject the shit out of that, because you are awesome. Oh man, you can tell this really gets me worked up, but I swear, anyone, and I do mean anyone, even the President of the United States, if Joe Biden were to say that working on improving your mental health was a bad thing, he would be the dumbest idiot in my opinion. I don't care who they are. Anybody on the planet, the most powerful person, the richest person, whoever says that to me is a complete moron, and I would reject the crap out of them, and if I could, I would punt them off the face of the planet, because that is the stupidest thing you could ever believe. So, oh man, I should probably end this soon before I say something dumb out of passion, but basically my point is, if you are working on improving your mental health, if you're willing to be honest with yourself and admit that it's not where you want it to be, and then you have the strength and the courage to start working on improving it via doing whatever steps you need to take, then you are a badass, and that is super awesome, and you should never feel ashamed for that. I mean, seriously, you're basically admitting that you want to work on improving your life, and that is awesome. That is admirable. That is courageous. That requires so much strength. So never feel ashamed for that. Just keep reminding yourself that you are strong, you are tough, you are a badass, and just keep being awesome in life. And if you need help, just watch this video whenever you feel that shame start to creep up, or whenever you feel bad, or if you can, just remember me saying these words and have me repeat them in your mind, so I could be like your little pep coach, I guess, when you're feeling bad. Because seriously, you need to remind yourself that you are a badass for this. This doesn't make you weak. It shouldn't make you feel ashamed. It should do the opposite. It should make you remember that you are strong as hell, because so few people are willing to do this. But anyway, I'll step off my soapbox now. I hope this video helped you, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Arrivederci!